Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bruiser Brody, Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker, all praised for being badass tough guy wrestlers on screen, capturing the coolness factor so few can even dream of. For years, many older fans have complained of a lack of talents on this level of grit and toughness. And to those fans I say, have you not heard of Jonathan Moxley? This is a new age of tough guy we're seeing blossom in professional wrestling, and it all starts with the martial art this man has invented. Now, jiu-jitsu actually means the gentle art in English. So sure, death art really goes against the whole point of jiu-jitsu, but let me tell you, when you're as cool as Jon Moxley, stuff like making sense doesn't matter anymore. With his pale, balding, blade-scarred head, reminiscent of a freshly circumcised penis, and litany of curious facial expressions, Moxley has struck fear into the hearts of wrestlers and fans alike as a man who is simply too cool for school. The hunched-over posture, the bizarre shoulder shrugs and surprised turns on the way to the ring, and that snarling, gravelly voice that definitely isn't put on or hammed up at all. Man, I'm scared just watching through the screen. What an absolute badass. This general sense, this vibe of manly awesomeness started back in 2019. Furious with that senile old coot, Vince McMahon, boxing him into a corner as a goofball. And seriously, there's nothing about Jonathan Moxley that screams goofball. Not his incredibly awkward, cack-handed strikes that clearly don't connect. Not his funny little walk. Not his genuinely great penchant for comedic promos. And certainly not his bizarre appearances on the highly cerebral, beautifully made, seminal TV classic, Total Divas. Anyways, I'm getting way out of here. Furious with that senile old coot, Vince McMahon, for forcing him to be a goofball all the time. Dean Ambrose struck out on his own, reclaiming his old Jon Moxley name, getting into rock-solid shape and putting together violent matches that, on paper, sounded pretty good. You know, they'd be great if it weren't for the fact he's usually too cool to sell and too cool to attempt making anything look even vaguely realistic between the ropes. You see, attention to detail, attention to technique and psychology, that is not badass. To be badass is to not give a tuss about anything. Ever. As the years went by, Moxley, unchecked by a well-meaning but laughably soft bus in Tony Khan, has meandered through a variety of badass promos and matches, including holding up the AEW World title and forcing Khan and CM Punk into a truly abysmal angle inspired by Rocky III, where Moxley painted himself into the role of fellow super badass no one has ever laughed at ever before, and that guy is Mr. T. CM Punk, AEW's biggest draw at the time, loses in a minute to Big Mox, then randomly rediscovers the fire and beats Moxley less than 2 weeks later. You know, when Rocky loses to Mr. T in Rocky III, he then actually trains for months in a new fighting style under Apollo Creed before getting his rematch that he then wins. But whatever, that's fine, all good, whatever. And then there was this year where, seemingly on a whim, Blade Boy got the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. AEW have already taken New Japan Company ace for the past 10 plus years, Kazuchika Okada, as well as top foreign talents like Will Ospreay, or Osprey as Adam Copeland would say, and Jay White. But that just wasn't enough. Oh no, AEW needed New Japan's top title as well. Maybe they can dig up Antonio Inoki's grave and move it to the US next time. Broken down cripple Tetsuya Naito was finally meant to enjoy a signature title run in New Japan this year, after being given the shaft for years. You know, despite being the most popular star in the company by a wide margin when it comes to domestic audiences. So, New Japan took themselves a surprise break from sucking and gargling on AEW's sledgehammer to bend over and take that hammer right in the opposite end, handing their world title over to Jon Moxley and allowing him to run roughshod over their promotion with subpar defenses opposite two guys not ready for the main event, plus probably the worst world champ of the decade in New Japan, before giving it back to Naito. Fantastic stuff. Just great. You see, New Japan have often been renowned for the high quality of their hard-hitting main events. But when you're as cool and as badass as Jon Moxley, you don't give a damn about nonsense like match quality and storytelling. You do whatever you want, and then you drop the belt in a nothing rematch because, damn it, you're too cool to try hard if you're booked to job. Especially when your foe has more knee arthritis than the great Khali. Let's just look at this for a second. New Japan's international business has gone down drastically ever since Kenny Omega and friends left. Their domestic fan base aren't thrilled with the product that has been put out over the past couple of years, and New Japan's solution is to have 2 world title changes take place overseas, one of which wasn't even a New Japan show. Anyways, on top of his too cool for school title runs, there's something else that's 100% badass about Jon Moxley, and that is the way he can't even keep his blood in his own body. Always blading himself silly, gigging that up. Woo, yeah. All while being too cool to even do it subtly. Back in the day, incredible talents like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were so artfully subtle with the blade, you'd find yourself wondering if they actually just got busted open hard way. Well, when you're a shoot fighter tough guy, death jitsu master, you're simply too cool for subtlety, as I just said. Bloody hell, this is getting a bit repetitive. And you don't give a damn if the whole world sees you blading, even if conventional wisdom would suggest it completely kills the match. Seeing a star randomly cut themselves up close on camera for the whole world to see. And speaking of shoot fighter tough guy, former Golden Gloves champion Baron Corbin recently won some jiu-jitsu thing. Well, you know what's even cooler than winning one? Not winning one. That's right, let's just keep that in mind as we take a look at Jon Moxley's own forays into the world of competitive submission grappling at a very amateur level. Right, okay, soundly defeated by, I'm guessing, a middling student with a 9-to-5 who does this as a fun hobby. Ah, there we go. Notice how he refuses even the most basic sense of sportsmanship. He's too cool for that handshake. Way too cool. He's also too cool for that whole winning thing competitive athletes often aim for. And you might think to yourself, surely losing little nothing BJJ matches in his spare time, on camera no less, is an embarrassing look for AEW. That, as one of their most famous representatives, he should be more protective of his image. And to those people, I say, you Well, you might actually have a point. But hey. Clearly, Jon Moxley's cool, edgy tough guy, Mac badassness is just too cool for Tony Khan to say no to on anything. And now, with All In, AEW's biggest show of the year, right around the corner, Jon Moxley is on his long-awaited vacation, you know, when the promotion really needs all hands on deck. Now look, his return is probably right around the corner, but all the same, ditching the promotion during a period of low ratings, of fan unrest, and a giant show coming in is just yet more of a showcase of what a total 100% badass this guy is. Clearly the toughest, clearly the coolest SOB in wrestling today, and definitely not the flop of the Shield Boys.